cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo as they come.
You need a nice long stay in solitary confinement.
This is the ending we should have gotten. Hi, I'm Kitty Monk, and I'm here to talk to you about Star Versus, or more specifically, Mina Loveberry. So I guess it's New Year's Eve, my last video for 2021. I just wanted to say thank you guys. On YouTube, this was a pretty good year for me. My channel finally got out there. Sure, there were a lot of ups and downs, but I passed a lot of milestones this year, and I couldn't have done that without you. I just hoped I entertained and informed you, maybe changed your mind a little bit. I thought, in the spirit of the new year, I'd talk about a character I've been meaning to get to for a while. I mean, come on. Before you usher in the new, the old has to be put to rest. Some time ago, I made a video about my problems with Moon. In that video, I said that while Moon was at one point a great character, the direction the show took with her led to her becoming very derailed. And much of this would have been fixed if they showed this newfound transformation on screen. As a result, the episode Pizza Party caused her to lose the coveted spot of my favorite character, in favor of Eclipsa. In her video, a character I highlighted was Mina Loveberry. Turned on by both the MHC and Moon, she ended up in the role of the big bad. And not just any big bad, but the all-important final big bad, unless you count Glossrick or Star herself. And therefore, many people point to her as the one responsible for Season 4 turning out the way it did. She's the reason Moon doesn't do anything about Eclipsa, implicitly leaving Star to fend for herself, and thereby starting Moon's downward spiral. She's the reason Star destroys magic, putting her leagues above somebody like Thanos or Toffee. But in a perfect world, could Mina have worked? And to that I say, look, I don't know, maybe. Let's discuss. But first, we're starting at the beginning. Mina's a recurring character in the world of Star. And what's special about her is she's the only Mumin, besides Star's family, who has access to magic. I mean, technically all Mumins have access to magic, but they don't have the capacity to actually learn how to use it. She first appears in Starstruck. In the episode, Star and Marco come upon Mina when she's dumpster diving. Why is one of Muni's finest warriors on such a backwards planet like this?
I'm on vacation. Doctor's orders.
Look, maybe I'm not the right person to say this because I know my audio isn't the best. If this video sounds different, I did get a Blue Yeti for Christmas, but it needs to be said. When watching her episodes, Mina doesn't work for me specifically because of her voice. I didn't realize just how loud she was until I started rewatching old episodes. It was to the point where when I was editing, my ears started hurting. I had to wash them out with peroxide. Mina is probably only the second time I've ever disliked a character solely based on their voice.
Mayabo Clark Peters.
And let me just prefix this by saying I have nothing against Amy Sedaris. Honestly, I like this lady, I just don't know how to pronounce her name. Princess Carolyn is one of my all-time favorite characters, but it sounded like they never told her to quiet down, especially when she's in her Solarian form. And they do that stupid voice-altering thing.
You're gonna be like, oh no, my bride, oh my poor monster bride.
It felt like they just told her, scream as loud as you can, Amy. Who cares if it hurts your throat? I figured this was intentional, but then compare Mina to other characters who are meant to be loud. Pony hits loud, and I had no problem listening to her. Honestly, in hindsight, there were times I found her funny.
Cause it looks like they do live here because that one over there just got mail delivered, okay?
Ludo and River, they're loud too, and I don't mind them. And in Ludo's case, I actually find his voice part of what makes him such a great antagonist.
More milkshake privileges for you. I want you to use that time to think about what you've done.
I think the intention was to make Mina seem crazy, because clearly her appearance couldn't give that away. Still, they didn't need to go down this path. We know Mina sounded okay in the past.
You shut up during your confession.
So, where were we? Oh yeah, Mina's on Earth because of
Doctor's orders. Doctor's orders.
ooh, foreshadowing. Star ignores the obvious signs that Mina has lost her marbles since she's a celebrity.
Marco, Mina was my idol growing up. Imagine if you randomly met your idol one day and didn't follow them around.
Do you notice how Star's outfit kind of looks like the one Mina's wearing, but is more clean and put together? Well, Mina turns out to be her hero, and something of a family friend. Back in the day, Mina was a ferocious battle commander, fighting side by side with Star's mother. Wait. I have a few questions. So, in this episode, Mina doesn't seem to know who Star is, despite her being the crown princess of Muni. I could understand this if Mina was any other foot soldier, but in future episodes, she's incredibly important. Not only did she counsel Star's mom, she was the right-hand woman of Queen Solaria. And like I said, she was so important, she got to go to war meetings with Star's mother, and likely her grandmother and grandmother's grandmother, etc, etc. Sure, Mina probably wasn't a family friend on the level of Ponyhead or Hekapoo, but she should know who Star is. Hold on, I get it now. I think this was intentional on the writer's part to foreshadow just how far gone Mina was. Or did Mina get the Elijah Michelson treatment? You know, the character was likely meant to be one and done, nobody special, but they liked the actor's performance or found Mina interesting, so they found a way to include her in the main plot. Even if this comes with a ton of continuity errors, Star ignores all this and ropes Marco into following Mina's lead. Star eventually does realize that Mina's cuckoo, and it takes Mina wanting to conquer the Earth to see it.
I care about Earth. I don't want to conquer it.
I thought you cared about being a warrior!
Okay, this was kinda cool. Stuff happens and Mina loses interest and goes off to do who cares what.
I wouldn't dare rule over this loony bin.
To be honest, nothing really happened in the episode until the end, so I mostly forgot about it until I started writing the script. It does provide a pretty good lesson of your heroes can turn out to be terrible people, but that's all I'll give it. So if you couldn't guess by now, Nina is knuckin' futz. And beyond one flashback in Moon the Undaunted is mostly forgotten about, both in-universe and out. You don't really see her again until the season 3A finale, Monster Bash. In the interim of their first meeting, Star has come to realize most monsters aren't bad people, and humans use centuries of propaganda to put them in their place. In fact, Star learns the difference between a monster and an ally all comes down to money.
And Rich Pigeon? His kingdom is brand new, and he's a pigeon. How is he not a monster?
Well, dear, he's rich.
Okay, this scene felt less like Star and Moon talking, and more like the crew trying to explain things to the audience, but it was still pretty funny, and I loved the double standards. As time goes on, Star tries to improve human-monster relations, even getting Muni's allies to sign a peace treaty. Not the one Star's grandmother died trying to ratify, but it's a step in the right direction. To celebrate, Star and Marco throw a huge party. Despite the circumstances, the monsters and the humans quickly warm up to one another. Unfortunately, somebody keeps kidnapping the monsters, and tensions begin to run high. The episode seems to be building up to the reveal it was Miss Heinous who did it, all in a vain attempt to get to Marco. A few episodes ago, we found out she was stealing something from the girls under her care. What it was some kind of fuel that kept her looking young, but they don't really specify.
Oh yeah, that's good. Gemini, we gotta get more of this stuff.
I'm afraid this one is out of juice, milady.
The round table says it was youth, TV Trope says it was emotions, Eclipse says it was life force.
But you were stealing the life force of those girls to preserve your youth.
Whatever it is, Heinous wants it from Marco. Upon completing a thorough search, Star discovers the culprit.
Mina Loveberry?
Mud sister?
Honestly, it was cool they found a way for Mina to be included. A big theme about Starverses is that you can't wipe away centuries of violence and strife overnight. Sure, you can get the people of now to agree, but not everybody will, at least at first.
I really thought I could just change everything overnight. Ugh, I was so wrong.
Change and progress, unfortunately, are very slow, and there's going to be problems and disagreements on both sides. Notice I say both sides, because I really did dislike how most of the backlash only came from humans and not monsters. Wouldn't it be cool if we got somebody to represent the monsters and they don't want peace? Seth, I guess they kinda had that with Toffee, but he wasn't in the story long enough for us to feel the impact. This is probably the one virtue I'll give Mina. She works on principle. Execution-wise, not so much. Mina asks why Star is the one intruding.
I am throwing a very important human and monster friendship party.
Wait, monsters?
Wait, how did Mina not hear what was going on upstairs? Rewatching old episodes, I think this scene is very important from my case study as to why Mina doesn't work as an antagonist. In Starverses, we get all kinds of villains. We get Knights of Cerebus, like with Toffee, who never had a dull moment, and we get joke villains like Ludo. There's even villains who can flip back and forth, like with Eclipse and Glopcore. The problem with Mina is, well, they try to make her flip back and forth, sometimes in the same scene. When the scene calls for Mina to act serious, she'll act funny.
I don't understand. I am trying to make—
Interrupting!
You don't understand the complexities of this situation. I am duty-bound to protect this temple.
When the scene calls for her to be funny, they'll deliver on that, but the joke often ends up going on for far too long.
Maybe it's time to get a second opinion.
You doubt the words of a professional?
No, but... Ow! Okay, stop it!
Or they'll just have Mina scream for no reason because they think that's funny.
I'm not the one escalating things, escalator!
Because of this, Mina doesn't come off as intimidating as Chalky, or as funny as Ludo. She comes off as annoying. And the last thing you want her to be is annoying. I said it before, but it really didn't feel like Mina was supposed to be a one-time character, but they still wanted to include her somewhere. Only they couldn't decide on which direction to take her, intimidating or funny. So they went with both, sometimes in the same scene. A villain I like to compare Mina to is Ludo. Ludo, from day one, was meant to be a joke character, because this was back when Star Vs was just another funny kids show. Like Mina, he had a high-pitched voice, a voice that didn't physically hurt to listen to.
And I think we can all agree Glossaric comes and goes as he pleases.
However, with Ludo, they knew when to be serious and when to tell a joke. When it came to something like Ludo pouring his heart out to Moon, he was funny, but there was still the tragedy underscored to it.
I lost my army, my kingdom, my clothes. And look, still standing.
The episode before that, when Moon meets Ludo's parents, they keep the seriousness of the whole scene, and the only jokes they tell are very quick.
He didn't even fit in our family portrait. We were extra hard on him to toughen him up. Was he grateful? No!
The biggest moment for me is when Toffee outs him as a leader. He is still funny in an otherwise serious scene, but considering the kind of person he is, it makes him come off as more than anything else pathetic, which is just what they wanted.
You guys belong to me! Are you stupid imbeciles really going to listen to him?
Thankfully, they're interrupted by... Ooh, Archer's mom. Miss Heinous is about to get her long overdue revenge on Princess Marco, only to discover... Would you believe me if I told you this and the ending used to be my favorite scenes in the whole show?
It's all coming back to me. That was my bookshelf, and my toy chest, and this. This was my baby bed.
Wait, wasn't Heinous taken away as a baby? How does she recall any of this? I can't even remember what I had for dinner last night.
He's her mama!
Besides, that would mean Heinous is a princess.
It means she's a butterfly.
Remember back when we thought the two of them were cousins?
It means she's a monster!
Okay, I have more questions. Mina knows the truth about Meteora, so she should know the butterfly family is illegitimate. What did the Magic High Commission tell her about Festivia? Or did they even tell her to go guard that place?
No patrol! I gotta make tracks!
When the police showed up, she did run away, but was it because she wasn't supposed to be there? Or was she supposed to be there, but she overstepped her bounds? And I always wondered this, but how much did Glossaric know? Yes, this video isn't about him, but he's a member of the Magic High Commission too, so he's culpable. Did he not care about showing Star Eclipse's chapter because he knew there was nothing to worry about? Mina decides to finish off Meteora while she's distracted, but Star tries to hold her off for as long as possible. Another thing I do give the episode is Mina is shown to be nigh invincible, and this episode does a much better job of showing that than Starstruck. I guess you could argue this comes down to the fact Star and Tom are teens, so of course Mina will no-sell all their attacks, just it was a nice touch. Moments later, Romulus bursts in and seals off the crime scene, and Mina hightails it. And while everybody gets out okay, Meteora escapes. Mina's work is done, and the monsters and the humans are right back to being uncomfortable. Okay, but why isn't Mina arrested? I can get Romulus not doing anything, but Moon herself? Next episode, Star comes running in to tell her, and Moon pretty much ignores it.
Mina told me everything! Mina? What are you talking about?
At first, I guess you could chalk that up to the fact Moon knew nothing about the conspiracy. After she learns the truth, she does nothing, even if I'm sure Moon could take Mina down herself. If Divide and Conquer's anything to go by, Mina is still gainfully employed by the palace.
You already sent Mina out to do just that.
Ah, great.
And she lost.
surprised Star didn't fire her.
No. I'm sorry. No liars allowed. Leave now. Out! Go out!
After this point, Mina doesn't really do anything of note. And then we get season 4. Finally! Now it's really time for us to ask if Mina actually could have worked, not just as a villain, but as the final villain. Though some people might disagree, watching the episodes, I do think she could have. However, that would have only worked if certain conditions were met. First off, the writers really needed to tone her down. Not just her voice, but her entire character. I don't think she needed to be on the level of Toffee. More like Meteora, where she's a joke until it's time to get serious. Second, she needed to be better fleshed out. Season 4 starts to slowly build up to Mina becoming a threat. In one episode, Eclipsa tries to foster good relations with the monsters, and does this by holding a banquet, but finds that her dish has been poisoned, and not just with any poison, but yada berries.
You feed them to someone and yada yada. They never bother you again.
Margot and Star launch a full investigation, but their efforts prove fruitless, unintended. In the end, they're forced to suspend things, realizing most everybody had some reason to want Eclipsa gone.
Don't worry about it. Manfred will be back to normal. Eventually. No harm, no foul.
This was a nice hint about the culprit. Yada berries aren't very effective poisons, and what was she gonna do after? Knock Eclipsa over? She's still queen and surrounded by a full complement of guards. Besides, I'm sure there's likely an antidote. The plan is super short-sighted and short-term. Of course, somebody like Mina Loveberry would think it up. Sometime later, Moon goes to the ruins of Butterfly Castle to get a few things, and comes upon Mina, who has decided to guard the castle herself.
Oh, I didn't recognize you with the new do. It's me, Mina Loveberry. Welcome home, Your Majesty.
Mina pours her heart out to Moon, letting it slip she hates Eclipsa, and even tried to assassinate her.
To get rid of Eclipsa, of course, but that tricksy queen fooled Manfred into eating them instead.
She ends her speech by trying to persuade her to restart the Solarian program and make Muni great again.
Let's dethrone Eclipsa once and for all. Let's restart the Solarian program together!
Instead, Moon tries to gently ease her into retirement.
Mina, your loyalty is truly admirable. The Solarian program was a dark time in our history. You don't have to let that define you. You can be more than what you were made for.
Yeah, good effort, Moon Pie, but Mina ain't having it.
No! I'll always be a soldier, just like you'll always be the queen! Where's your loyalty to your peeps? Ha! Come, Sebastian, Mina's got work to do!
Now this could be interesting. Moon, for some reason, is content to let Mina run her course. The thing is, Mina really did nothing all this time. She claims she's gonna get rid of Eclipsa, but that never comes. I think if Moon didn't try that whole stunt, Mina would still be a non-entity. The thing is, Mina was still meant to be the final villain. If you're writing a final villain, this is the last thing you want to do. You know why Meteora and Toffee were so effective? Because they were built up.
You just helped the most dangerous monster in the history of Mutiny escape!
Honestly, I thought Ludo was Mina done right. Now I think that spot belongs to Meteora. She went through a full transformation, and unlike Mina, they stopped making her funny after a certain point. Of course, since Starverse is a comedy, we did get jokes.
Young lady, you turn right back around!
But her actions weren't meant to be funny. We got episodes with Meteora that didn't include the main characters, so even if her actions weren't necessarily correct, we saw where she was coming from. At most, we get one episode about Mina that doesn't include Star, and it isn't even about Mina. It's about Moon first and foremost. Mina just comes in at the end, just to give us the reveal for another episode. This is a tragedy, considering how we only get one flashback with Mina. I guess Meteora got that treatment too, but it was still more effective than what we got with Mina and Solaria. With Meteora, it put her entire life into perspective, and it energized her. Mina, it felt like a last-minute exposition dump, like, yeah, we meant to show you this, but Starco was more interesting. In fact, Solaria was one of the characters I think needed more focus. The spellbook does provide it, but I'm pretty sure not everybody read it. So basically, 300 years ago, Mina lived in a small human village that was regularly attacked by monsters.
Oh, corn!
One One day, she witnessed Solaria, who was queen at the time, defending them, and then she tried to drum up volunteers for her army. Only, there were no takers.
Who among you will join me?
Do
we have to?
What? Shouldn't you be doing, like, queen stuff?
Yeah, seems like a lot of work.
Then we get the encounter that changed Mina Loveberry forever.
For what it's worth, I thought your speech was real neat. You must be the strongest queen ever, standing up to all those monsters.
Solaria asks her to be her first soldier, but Mina tries to decline.
Oh, geez, I'd love to, but I'm just a simple rag peddler.
You are exactly the kind of soldier I'm looking for. I do not ask for strength. I ask only that you believe in me.
I do believe in you.
This reminds me of something.
You want gems after they're worthless, because when you're at the bottom, you'll follow anyone that makes you feel like less of a failure.
What I forgot to mention was Mina wasn't living comfortably. She was a literal rag peddler. Young, scrappy, and hungry.
Rags for sale. Get your lightly used rags here.
I'm sure Solaria was the first person who not only treated Mina like a person, but made her feel wanted. She would fall for whatever Solaria said, hook, line, and sinker. And I think Solaria was also able to twist Mina's dislike of monsters into full-on bigotry. Too bad we never got to see it. If you never read the spellbook, you might be tempted to say Solaria didn't care about Mina and only wanted her to be cannon fodder. But according to Solaria's writings, she did gain a great deal of respect for the poor girl and hoped she would survive the super risky experimentation. In fact, Mina's immortality seems to be a direct result of this magic. However, the biggest waste of Mina was in Coronation. This episode is all about Eclipsa. It's strange that Mina never tries to stop her. I know the episode was all about showing Muni that Globgor wasn't who they thought he was, but I'm sure they could have fit Mina in somewhere. Maybe she and Romulus are working together. Maybe she has her own plan and Romulus has his. Then they intersect at the end. That way, you can still have Globgor enter the plot. Globgor was probably more important to Mina than Eclipsa, being the king of monsters and all.
It's just not the same without the king of monsters!
Mina's purpose in the episode should have been to drum up disapproval for Eclipsa. At minimum, she should have tried to do what Heinous did in exposing Marco, or foreshadow some people accept her surface-wise, but they're keeping their mouths shut. The point of Maud Maisley seemed to be this.
To get rid of all those dirty monsters and make life good again for the real humans!
You tell 'em, sister!
Maybe show this wasn't just limited to her. That way, when we have all those Solarian warriors, it makes more sense, and it doesn't make the twist with Moon feel so sudden. As you couldn't guess, this doesn't happen, and we don't see Mina again until the finale arc. After Star and Tom break up, they find Tom can't get home, so they have to take the long way. When they return to Muni, they find tons of Solarian warriors attacking innocent civilians, thereby meaning this could only be the work of Mina Loveberry. We actually get an amazing scene of Star becoming this kaiju thing and attacking the soldier she thinks is Mina, which doesn't work but is pretty awesome.
Muni has changed. And it's not changing now!
The only thing that seems to make a sizable dent is Eclipsa using the most dangerous spell in her arsenal, the spell with no name. If you're unaware, the spell with no name was developed by Eclipsa's mother.
Solaria was a crazy lady who made crazy people.
She was also my mother.
Oh.
Yes, the irony, I know. Sometime before her death, Solaria began working on her crowning achievement, the Total Annihilation spell, which would have killed all monsters. Because Solaria was so far gone, she thought killing monsters made them happy, she didn't realize that by unleashing the spell, she would kill not only them, but all of Muni, the MHC, her allies, the etceteras. Thankfully, depending on how you look at it, Solaria was killed in a surprise attack and couldn't finish the spell, but hoped Eclipsa would continue on her work. Instead, Eclipsa created the spell with no name, which eviscerates anything in its path.
I call the spell which has no name, my mother's gift with which she reigned. Stand before the queen and cower!
Too bad it wasn't Mina.
Mina Loveberry is coming to attack Eclipsa.
They tried to fight wander off to Tanuivale and are forced to shelter in the monster temple. Mina says if they don't come out when the rooster crows, she'll raise hell.
So is that rooster gonna crow at sunrise or something?
What? No. It's a dumb bird, Marco. It crows whenever it wants.
Still, this doesn't make her an effective villain. Yes, there's dozens of Solarian warriors, but you know what? They have the tools to stop them, or at least try to.
But I don't know if I have the energy to do that spell again.
Yeah, that's right. You're not doing that spell again. That thing was insane.
Eclipsa finally has the spellbook back, and besides peering at one spell, never uses it for anything useful on how to stop the Solarians. True, I don't remember Solaria's chapter having any info on that, but guys, not everybody read your book. At least try to extend the effort. Meanwhile, you have the weapon to stop the Solarians right there. You just don't want to use it. It's like if you have a flat tire and you're right in front of a gas station. Instead of buying a new tire or asking for help, you just blow up the car. Sure, Eclipsa didn't want to use the spell out of fear of being like her mom.
I swore I'd never use any of my mother's spells for fear of turning into her. And yet, here I am.
But her arc thus far has been about learning you gotta do what you gotta do. Maybe the spell destroys everything in its path. They could take care of that. Perhaps she could use the spell on Mina, or since the show is all about Star doing what people don't expect, Star could finish the spell and make it where it only works on Solarian warriors. Moon flies in, and come on, you already know. Moon armed the Solarians, and her and Mina are working together. And she can't learn to take responsibility, but girls gotta sleep at night.
I never told the soldiers to attack the monsters. You know how overeager Mina can get. But I would not attack innocent civilians.
I never got that. She would never hurt civilians, but she still gave the means to doing so to somebody who doesn't care, just to get results. Even if you didn't pull the trigger, you still hired a hitman. She promises Eclipsa she'll fix everything if Eclipsa steps down and leaves Muni permanently.
I'll heal Globgor at the Magic Sanctuary, and you and your family will be free to live in any dimension of your choosing. Except this one.
Ouch. Honoring her side of the deal, Moon tries to calm down Mina, but oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Mina won't listen.
I'm gonna need you to scoot to the side a little. You know, just scooch a little so I don't accidentally get you when I run her through with my sword and all.
Moon, what did you think was gonna happen?
You know how overeager Mina can get.
Forced by Mina, Moon goes with Plan B and tries to undo the spell.
Return the power paid in blood. Your essence now restored. Revoke the strength that comes in floods, and rest forevermore!
Nothing happens. Why?
You may have created the warriors, but we pledged our loyalty to Queen Solaria!
This made no sense, and it felt like the writers just pulling something out of thin air to make Mina more intimidating. Nowhere in the flashback we get do we ever see them pledging to anybody. And nowhere in Solaria's chapter does it say you have to swear yourself to her to get magic. It would have been smarter if this only applied to the Solarians that Moon created. Maybe she takes away all their magic, but they still have to deal with Mina. Not caring about these inconsistencies, Mina decides to turn her attention to not only Eclipsa, but the other monsters, and fulfill the final solution. Throw them off a cliff.
Now let's start by rounding up the rest of these folks and pushing them off this here ledge.
Really? That's your big plan?
I'm gonna be like, oh no, my bad, oh my poor monster bad.
And they act like Mina's on the level of like Thanos. See, a problem with Star destroying magic is Mina's motives weren't a good enough reason to do the deed. Not that there is, but they're clearly going for a sadistic choice. And like I said, they have a solution right there, and they still decide not to use it.
1, we stay here. 2, you give me my wand and I go back to Muni and blast those warriors with my total annihilation spell, probably destroying most of the kingdom as well.
Sure, it's gonna suck for all those monsters, but on a global scale, it's really not a big deal. Before, I said that because of Solaria, Muni only really considers you a monster if you're poor. Since Mina served Solaria, I'm sure she doesn't notice the hypocrisy either. Some people have told me that Mina was totally gonna take her campaign global, but we never see any indication about that on screen. What if she got so drunk on power, she decided to go help other kingdoms, like the Luchadors or the Ponyheads or even the humans? Surely they have a monster problem too. Or perhaps she can deal with Eclipsa herself, and she'll send the other warriors after them? Or what if word gets out that Mina's attacking Muni, so the other kingdoms send their armies to stop her? To Mina, this could mean they go from allies to traitors, thereby meaning they deserve to be eliminated. That way, if they do any of this, star-destroying magic has more merit. Not only would Star be saving one kingdom, she'd be saving the whole universe. Regardless, the Solarians go on the attack, but Head Kapoo is able to rescue the main characters. In this interim, Star decides that for some reason, magic is awful, and she must destroy it.
Yep, it's official. I hate magic. I'm gonna destroy it.
What?
Mina's able to track them down to the realm of magic, somehow not losing her memory.
Hiding in the magic. Clever queens.
She's about to attack, and then...
What are you doing with these monster snookers? Solaria! Help me! My queen!
This is why I think we needed an episode with Eclipsa and her mom. Preferably a flashback episode. But maybe Eclipsa could go inside her wand and come upon her mom's ghost. Some of you did make the point that 300 years is a long time. Solaria could have learned the error of her ways in death. I just remember feeling it was so sudden.
Well, for what it's worth, I think you made the right choice.
Still awesome to see, and it always brings tears to my eyes, just it could have been a little better. In the end, Star's temper tantrum works. The magic is no more, and the Solarians fall to pieces.
Hello?
Okay, but why isn't Mina dead? The secret to Mina's longevity was her Solarian magic. Now that magic is no more, why is Mina still kicking? The only difference is she looks a little thinner, like she pulled an all-nighter, and she coughs. Why did they keep her alive, you ask? Her swan song.
You can get rid of me. It's so easy. I'll never really be gone, 'cause I've got good ideas.
Wow, way to be on the nose, guys. We don't need this speech, especially some of what Mina says.
And the thing about good ideas is they tend to kind of hang around like a bad fart.
Up to this point, they've portrayed Mina as somebody who desperately needs a straitjacket. This Mina...
The mooks are also under arrest. Why? For obstructing Mama's business.
And the Mina right here?
Toodaloos, doormats.
Aren't the same character. This is a speech you'd expect from somebody like Toffee. I do think what she's saying is an unfortunate but important lesson. There's just one little thing I gotta say. We had the entire show for this. If you wanted Mina to have this speech, maybe have her give it while she's turning into dust. And then Mina runs into a forest with Manfred. And nobody thinks to stop either of them.
Oh, I'd like to come with you. Where are we going?
Into the woods!
What does she really think to do? I'm done. That was Mina Loveberry. The worst villain in the whole show. See you guys in 2022. The next video is probably gonna be an Owl House video. I guess since it's gonna be a new year, it'll be all about King's Past, or an analysis on the Bat Queen. I haven't really decided. Anyways, thanks for watching.